Crawford, Modica, and Holt, Chartered Attorneys at Law, here to help you overcome your legal obstacles. Our lawyers carry exceptional experience and work as a team with our fantastic support staff to provide practical solutions to your legal matters. Whether it be family law, criminal defense, land use and zoning, or complex litigation, probate litigation, business, and regulatory matters, the attorneys at Crawford, Modica, and Holt are here to serve you. Call us for all your legal needs at 352-432-8644. Crawford, Modica.
So it does kind of feel like, especially as the relatively low guy on the totem pole, and I'm
Houston
Empty, dead empty. I'm starving. It's like eat the lint in my pocket.
Good afternoon.
Afternoon.
The date is May 7th, 2026, and the time is 5:17 p.m. I hereby call to order the meeting of the Planning and Zoning Board of the City of Groveland, Florida. Thank you for joining us for the city's P&Z Board meeting. On behalf of myself, the Vice Chair, and board members, we hope you and your families are well. I first want to say thank you for your patience as we get a late start here. At this time, Maria, will you please call the roll?
Chair Zach Decker.
Present?
Vice Chair Robin Hoover.
Present.
Board Member Carrie Lambert.
Present.
Board Member Alicia Kissy. She will be running late, but she will be here.
Good.
Board Member Michael Archer. Absent. Board Member Marty Proctor.
I'm here.
Board Member Brandon Dixon. He's absent. Non-voting member Bill Mathias. He's absent. Our interim Community and Economic Development Director, Andrew Landis, is absent today. Dwayne Jones, our Planning and Zoning Manager, is sitting in for him, and he's present. City Attorney, Ben Schaefer.
Oh, present. Thank you.
Recording Secretary, Maria Ramirez, present.
Thank you, Maria. It appears we have a quorum. If you would please stand with me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, Maria, will you please read the consent agenda item?
Consideration of approval of the April 2nd, 2026 Planning and Zoning Board meeting minutes.
Do I have a motion to accept the consent agenda?
Move to approve.
I'll second.
I have a motion, I have a second, and I will call the vote. Robin Hoover,
Aye.
Marty Proctor,
Aye.
Carrie Lambert,
Aye.
and Zach Decker votes aye. The consent agenda item passes.
Bob?
On to new business. The first item on our agenda today, the recommendation.
1 second. I'm sorry. I apologize, Zach. I
Sure.
forgot to add on the script the voting of chairman and vice chairman before we get into new business. Sorry.
Okay.
All you're here to do? You want to listen, or you just want to get?
Okay, I don't have a protocol laid out here in front of me, but I believe at this time we need to take nominations for the chair position. As you all know, my official time ended with my previous term. I was reappointed to the board and have continued serving interim, but we do need to take nominations for the current year.
I'd like to nominate Zach to stay the chair currently.
I'd love
For the
to
new
add
year.
second that.
Okay. Any other nominations? Okay. And do we vote on that and then go to vice chair?
That'd be recommended. Yes.
That's, okay.
Yes.
So since I don't have the script here, do I take a motion to approve the nominee?
Yes.
Okay. Can I get a motion to approve the nominee, Zach Decker, to continue as chairman?
I'll give you your motion to continue Zach Decker as chairman.
Okay.
Second?
I have a motion, I have a second, and I'll call the roll. Robin Hoover, how do you vote?
Aye.
And Marty Proctor, how do you vote?
Yes, please.
Aye. Okay. Carrie Lambert?
Aye.
And chair votes aye. We'll let you join in this vote. We're voting for chairperson, and there was one nominee, and it was Zach Decker.
Okay.
You can choose to vote aye or nay.
Aye.
Okay, great. And Alicia votes, Kissy votes aye as well. So that motion passes. Zach Decker will be the chairperson. At this time, we'll take nominees for the vice chair position.
Nominate Robin Hoover for vice chair.
Any other nominees?
A second.
Motion.
Seeing no other nominees, can I get a motion to approve Robin Hoover as the vice chair?
Please, go ahead.
I move to approve Robin.
Okay, I have a motion
Second.
and a second. And now I'll call the roll. Starting with Alicia Kissy.
Yes, aye.
Aye. Marty Proctor.
Aye.
Carrie Lambert.
Aye.
And Robin Hoover.
Aye.
And the chair votes aye. Motion passes. Congratulations, Ms. Hoover. Okay, moving on to the first item on the agenda is the recommendation of approval of ordinance 2026-5. Maria, will you please read the title?
Ordinance 2026-5, an ordinance extending and increasing the corporate limits of the City of Groveland, County of Lake, State of Florida, pursuant to the voluntary annexation provisions of Section 171.044 Florida statute, annexing 6.2 acres of real property not embraced within the present limits of the City of Groveland, owned by Rutland International, Inc., providing for findings, providing for a legal description and a map, directing the city manager to record certified copies of the ordinance after approval with the clerk of the circuit court, the county manager of Lake County, and the secretary of the state of Florida, providing for conflicts and severability, providing for scrivener errors, setting an effective date.
Thank you. Mr. Booker, you have a presentation for us?
Yes, I do. Good evening, Planning Zoning Board members. My name is Alan Booker, Senior Planner. We're just having, there we go. So tonight we're going to be looking at 3 items that were brought concurrently. So an annexation, a small-scale comprehensive plan amendment, and a rezoning. So the name of the project is the Langley Industrial, and the ordinance number is 2026-5. The applicant is Trevor Brown, which I do not see in the audience tonight. And the request is for a voluntary annexation into the city of Groveland. The location is on Republic Drive at the southwest corner of Democracy Streets and Republic Drive. And this is located within the Christopher C. Ford Commerce Park in Groveland. And the acreage is approximately 6.24 acres. So just a quick recap from the staff report with the finding of facts. The property is contiguous to the city. All the area that's hatched that you can see on the aerials, that's already into the city. So it is contiguous, it is reasonably compact, and we found to be consistent with the Florida statute 171.044. So the annexation petition has been signed by the property owner. We has been properly noticed. This would not create any enclaves or unincorporated pocket, which is what we do not want. So staff recommends recommendations. After looking at the facts, we recommend approval of ordinance 2026-5.
Thank you. And you said the applicant is not present?
And the applicant is not present.
Okay. All right. At this time, let's switch this. Doing public comment first. Okay. Is there any public comment? Seeing none, is there any discussion among the board?
I just have one question. According to the property card, this is currently agricultural with timber. What's going to happen to the timber? Are they planning on utilizing that, harvesting it, just tearing it all out and burning it? What's their plan for the timber? Anybody?
That would be a better question for the applicant, because on the narrative, all that we received is they would like to build an industrial park for the development of 100,000 plus square feet of licensed industrial office warehouse space. That's, so I believe at the
They
time,
submitted a concept plan that we looked at previously before they submitted their formal application. They have 2 industrial warehouses. We'll get into the other ordinances, but I can just go ahead and tell you now, they're doing a light industrial zoning, which is compatible with the adjacent parcels. The light industrial zoning does allow for outdoor storage, but not hazardous material outdoor storage. The timber that's on site, I wasn't aware of. I'm not sure what they're going to do with that timber.
It's trees. It's all pine,
It's pine.
scrub pine,
Okay,
mostly.
okay. But I don't want to speak for the applicant. Unfortunately, he's
Should.
not here.
That's why
I did speak with him
I
earlier.
just wanted to
this-
ask on the record.
Yeah, I did speak with him earlier this week, and he was out of the country. He was supposed to have a representative here in his place, and unfortunately, he's not here, so.
Okay.
Okay. Any other comment?
So I think I can answer your question. That's what it looks like today. No more trees. I'll take that back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 that I count on the property. I was there today. So the answer is whatever they're going to do with them, that's been done. Which leads to my actual question. So there's a lot of activity on this property. I mean, it's their property. They own it. They can do what they want. When are they allowed to start storing? It looked like an awful lot of material being stored out there. They pushed the majority of the property in advance of this activity. How does that work in the real world? I mean, I know, again, it's their property. They can essentially do whatever they want with it. But are they allowed to start storing a lot of stuff out there and bulldoze the property in advance of this activity? I guess the real question would be, maybe even legally, where's the line between being able to do whatever they want and doing what's part of the agricultural activity that is zoned for today?
Well, and you guys can speak more for the planning side, but also legally, as long as it's within the currently existing land use, I don't see that being necessarily an issue. Because again, like you said, it's their property. As long as it's not something that requires this kind of, these things to be passed before it's legal, then I think it's fine. I think there may be a fact question about how much is too much, but given the information that's available, I think it's probably okay. Yeah.
I'm not being accusational. I'm just trying to understand.
Yeah, no,
Yeah, he does own a parcel right across the street from there, so some of the storage that he was storing was storage from the other development that he had in that cul-de-sac. But it's currently in unincorporated Lake County. I can't speak for Lake County's code and ordinances, so maybe, I don't know if it's a code enforcement violation, but who knows? You will rarely get a case where people are calling about that. And, Lake County is enforcing those code enforcement violations. But once he comes into the city, we'll have more input as far as the timeline on his development and how long he will be storing those materials on site.
Thank you. Again, I'm just looking for clarification. I'm not calling county, and I'm also not calling you. Just asking. Thank you. That's all I have, sir.
I had a question.
Okay.
You had mentioned the outdoor materials and storage, like did he specify? Did you say like hazardous materials or?
No, so this concept plan doesn't show any outdoor storage, but the zoning does allow for outdoor storage. So if he were to develop that site, he could come back later, wanted to do outdoor storage. You can do that under the light industrial zoning. It does require an enhanced landscape buffer with a chain link fence around that. And it has to be behind the actual primary structure. But that particular light industrial zoning gives you those type of allowances.
Okay, and would it be required for him to state what kind of materials he's storing? So it
Yes.
wouldn't violate any environmental?
Yeah, our code specifically talks about the specific materials you're allowed to store in the light industrial zoning.
Okay,
Any type of hazardous material will have to be confined within the building.
okay, thank you.
I'm sorry, but that brings So again, in driving back there, there's a very large warehouse on the left-hand side, south side of the road going in there. And if that's an enhanced buffer, yeah, the one that's just to the east of the subject property, that doesn't match my definition of an enhanced buffer or berms or anything else.
Which parcel are you talking about?
The parcel, the big white roof directly to the east of the property,
Groveland
subject property.
Logistics, across from Amazon?
Excuse me?
Across from Amazon?
Yes, not Amazon. Amazon's landscaping actually looks very good. You know, I'm big on this because the buffers are what we all see as we drive through.
Right, so what was your question? The definition of enhanced,
Where does that definition come in? Is that part and parcel of the zoning and land use they're putting in?
it's
Or
under the
is
light
it-
industrial definition of our community development code. So it's a 25-foot landscape buffer requirement for any outdoor storage.
Okay, so this won't be something that'll be part of a development agreement or anything like that? This will be
Straight zoning.
straight zoning? Okay.
It's not, I'm not saying that he is doing outdoor storage. I'm just saying if he
They
wanted
do.
to do it, he could do it.
Right. Okay, thank you.
Okay, Ms. Lambert?
I just want to know, does the applicant say what's the nature of their business when they build there? What is,
Not, it wasn't specified on the application. The light industrial facilities was a part of his conceptual plan that he provided to us. But as far as his specific business, I can't speak to that, unfortunately.
Other comments? Okay. Seeing no other board comments, can I get a motion for the recommendation, a motion for the approval of ordinance 2026-5?
Move to approve?
I have a
Second.
motion. I have a motion. I have a second. And I will call the roll. Marty Proctor, how do you vote?
Aye.
Carrie Lambert?
okay,
Robin Hoover?
Nay.
Alicia Kissy?
Aye.
And the chair votes aye. So the motion passes. Moving on to item number 2, recommendation of approval of ordinance 2026-6. Maria, will you please read the title?
This is ordinance 2026-6, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Groveland, Lake County, Florida, amending the City of Groveland's comprehensive plan pursuant to 163.3187 Florida statutes by amending the future land use map designation from Lake County Industrial to the City of Groveland Employment Center on the future land use map for the herein described properties consisting of 6.2 acres, authorizing the city manager to amend said comprehensive plan, repealing all ordinances in conflict herewith, providing for severability and scrivener errors, providing for an effective date, and providing for the forwarding of this ordinance to the State of Florida Department of Commerce.
Thank you. Mr. Booker?
So the request for ordinance 2026-6, the future land use currently was Lake County Industrial, and they're requesting the City of Groveland Employment Center, which is our equivalent. And once again, the location is on Republic Drive at the southwest corner of Democracy Street and Republic Drive within the Christopher Ford Commerce Park area in Groveland. And the acreage is 6.24 more or less. So as we can see, everything around it is the same as the employment center. This is the intent. Looking at the analysis, the property is in what's called FEMA Flood Zone X. Essentially, it is outside the special flood hazard area. We looked at some of the policy in the comprehensive plan. We found policy 1.1E, 1.1F, 1.1 LI, and then 1.1P that were in support of this area. Essentially, it's discouraging urban sprawl, reducing land consumption by focusing on employment centers, and the employment center is something that we typically have in the Ford Commerce Park. And also, like in the comprehensive plan, it calls to have sufficient employment for the future for the residents. So this would allow for more commercial or non-residential development that the city has been looking for. So the amendment supports, like I say, employment development within an established industrial area, and staff find the area compatible with the surrounding uses. And staff recommends approval of ordinance 2026-6. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any public comment? Seeing none, we will take board discussion, and I'll go in order here, starting with Ms. Hoover.
Alan, is it possible that you could pull up the conceptual plan that was submitted through the agenda?
It's not in the PowerPoint. Only reason why I didn't put it, well, we didn't put it in the PowerPoint because conceptual plans do change over time, and I don't want to get the impression that what you see in the PowerPoint is going to be
Was the
what's
final?
developed.
Okay.
So, but we included it in the package, in the attachments that we sent out last Friday, so you should be able to look at it from there.
Okay. Ms. Kissy?
No.
Mr. Proctor?
Do you have the address of the applicant handy?
The address of the applicant,
Yeah, Rutland.
I can pull it up real quick. It's on the application, but I can find it.
Somewhere with this.
Address is 10895 Rocket Boulevard,
Orlando, Florida.
Orlando, Florida 32824. And his business is called Rutland International.
Doing business as Rutland Gutter Supply. To answer your question, sort of. They're not here to answer it, but it appears that they are a commercial maker of cupolas and gutter systems and stuff for very cool-looking commercial buildings. Welcome to Groveland. That's all I have, sir.
Thank you. Ms. Lambert?
Question?
And no comments from the board. Do we have a motion for approval of ordinance 2026-6?
Move to approve.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and I have a second. I will start with Mr. Proctor. How do you vote?
Aye.
Ms. Lambert? Nay. Ms. Hoover? Nay. Ms. Kissy?
Aye.
And the chair votes aye. Motion for approval passes. Okay, moving on to item number 3 on the agenda is ordinance 2026-7. Maria, will you please read the title?
This is ordinance 2026-7, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Groveland, Florida, to change the zoning from Lake County Light Manufacturing to the City of Groveland Light Industrial for the herein described property owned by Rutland International, Inc., and located on Republic Drive, south of U.S. Highway 27, east of Democracy Street, and west of the State Road 19, directing the city manager to amend the zoning map as herein provided after the passage of this ordinance, providing for severability, repealing all ordinances in conflict herewith, providing for scrivener errors, and providing for an effective date.
Mr. Booker?
So now the request, once we have the comprehensive plan in place, the next step is the zoning. So the request to rezone from Lake County Light Industrial to the City of Groveland Light Industrial. Once again, the property is located on Republic Drive at the southwest corner of Democracy Street and the Republic Drive within the Christopher C. Ford Commerce Park, and the acreage is 6.24 acres, more or less. As we can see on the map, the area is surrounded by light industrial and heavy industrial to its east directly. Now, the key thing when you look at what are the key facts for any rezoning application that we really need to focus on is if it aligns with the vision, and the first step is consistency. So is the future land use consistent with it? And in our comp plan, if you have an employment center, light industrial, it's consistent with it. Then the next step is to look, is it compatible? What is in the area? Is there any adverse impact anticipated? We found the area is compatible with the surrounding use. It is the Ford Commerce C Center. It's our vision and also the vision of the county that supports this types of land use. And is it compliant? So that's the other thing. Right now, the property is not really developed, but we have to look, is it the correct size? And right now, in light industrial, you need a minimum of 10,000 square feet. This completely exceeds it. It's 6.24 acres, more or less. So it has the 3C of zoning. So from a staff standpoint, we recommend approval of ordinance 2026-7. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Booker. Is there any public comment? Seeing none, public comment is closed. Is there any discussion among the board? And I will call on each of you, starting with Ms. Hoover.
No.
Ms. Kizzy?
No.
Mr. Proctor?
Thank you.
Ms. Lambert? Okay. Seeing no discussion among the board, can I get a motion for recommendation of approval on ordinance 2026-7?
To approve.
I have a motion. Second?
Second.
I have a motion. I have a second. We'll take the vote starting with Mr. Proctor. How do you vote?
Aye.
Ms. Lambert? Ms. Hoover?
Nay.
Ms. Kissy?
Aye.
And chair votes aye. Motion approved. At this time, we will have an EAR update presentation from the police, followed by fire. After their presentations, we'll then have an opportunity to ask questions and provide feedback.
So I'm going to reiterate the slide that we've presented last time, exactly reminding because some people were not here. So essentially, what is an EAR? It's an evaluation and appraisal review of our comprehensive plan, which is our long-term vision, which is usually typically 10 to 20-year horizon. So once every 7 years, each local government shall evaluate its comprehensive plan and determines if any amendments are necessary to comply with statute. So looking at the conditions, once again, we are in 2026. We're looking at where our population is expected to be. I think we highlighted in 2036, we're looking at 38,173. And in 2046, approximately 46,900. These were based from the Schimbergs and the Bieber population projections. Now, as I said before, an EAR is a pretty simple process. It's really think population, statute, and this can be done fairly rapidly. In Groveland, we went significantly above and beyond. We're also using the strategic plan to inform any changes that have happened around the city. We've conducted public engagement. We've done city council directions and guides with the policy decisions. We've consulted with the rest of the staff. And the key takeaway is like in Groveland, like I say, we're looking at aligning our policies, maps, and community priorities part of this process. Now, a quick update. So on April 17, we received our last deliverable with the consultant. Staff was directed to close the contract. At this point, we have to finalize the review of all the data analysis chapter that they provided, as well as all the new elements. Some big outstanding steps was the GIS, where we went back and we've verified against all the ordinances, thanks to our clerk who has really good records. We were able to go through, look at, compare the ordinances and reconstruct our layers, and everything now is going to have an ordinance. If you click on a property, once we're going to relaunch, you're going to click, you're going to see the ordinance number, when it was adopted, and so if anybody has any public requests, they can easily find it. And then part of this year, we've encountered some discrepancies, and also we also wanted to make some enhancements as we were looking to create a new future land use category called civic, which can better house civic assets like schools, hospitals, and public facilities. At this point, we're still pending legal coordination. As we know, we're in transition. We're in process of getting a new attorney. We have an interim firm at the moment, and we're going to actually next week we're going to have a meeting to kick off with Fishback and Dominic to help us to kind of show, okay, this is what we have so far, and try to come up with our get directions and get moving on the project. To reillustrate, this is the map this is actually from our side-by-side viewer that we've been using, and actually that we have been sharing with the attorney to help us. The one on the left, this is the one that's been ordinance verified, and then the one on the right, we've had selected some areas in yellow. These are the areas that are going to be changing because there were discrepancies. Like some areas people had a PUD and in 2020 that somehow that didn't have the proper future land use, so we need to address this. And like I said, some areas were also annexed in the city in 2020, but they did not receive, it was like in the middle of the process while the city was sending the document to the state, other applications were coming through. And so these areas, they were in the city, but they need a future land use, or we can leave them unassigned. So this is something that we are working with we're going to be working with the attorney to get directions showing the change and see what is the most defendable for the city. To reinstate our looking at the strategic plan and also this innovative transect approach to just level service, the idea would be to have different levels across the transect, and this is something to be reviewed also with our attorney to make sure this is legal and defendable. So really what is the path forward at this point is to finalize the map, which is going to be called like the year proposed, and as we said before, we're going to have a series of maps once it's been finalized to show this is what it is legally adopted and this is what staff is proposing. So we also need to confirm the level of service. That's tonight we have an opportunity. We're going to be talking about the fire and the police. We need to also obviously complete the legal reviews, looking at our maps, the policies, ensuring concurrencies, and also really important is to align the capital improvement plan that is actually happening this year, part of this project. So we have P&Z right now. We're going to be talking fire service and public safety. And in June, we're looking to have the utilities, the park, and the mobility. So the deliverable that we received, we have shared it with the rest of the team. So the utilities are actually reviewing what the consultant put together, because remember, it would stop. They need to ensure that this lines up with, looking at the latest, because we have the community vision, but also we need to look at, once we do the data analysis, like, well, how many people are in the city? What is the latest people per household? And then when you look at the population projection, it's like, will there be sufficient parks? So before we make a promise, it's like, how's the city looking at? So these are the things we're going to be talking tonight. And then here's a quick slide to kind of illustrate really what the level of service really means. So when we increase the level of service, you may improve the quality of life, but it's nothing happens in a vacuum, because the developer, they do this impact fee, which is a one-time fee, but then, so we get this impact fee, but then, you gotta have the upkeep, the maintenance, that's the capital improvement project. So if you think of your level service as a promise, if we increase our promise, well, we're gonna have to figure out how we're gonna pay for it. And so there's definitely that connection. So as the level service goes up, that means we have to figure out how we're gonna fund them properly. And so tonight, like I said, this is actually, we use some of the slides that's actually from our strategic plan, with the idea of a shared vision. And, we have like the agricultural that's been really big in the city. We have our utilities, we have fire and police, schools, and then also our conservation. If you look at the top right, we have in the dark sky, this is all the new things that we have in our current code. And so, like I said, tonight we get the opportunity to explore more the first going with the police first, and then with the fire department, talking about they did the data analysis, look at where we are, and then making what is the best recommendations. So I'm going to turn it over to our police department with Deputy Chief Armando Loney.
Good afternoon.
Good.
For those who don't know me, my name is Armando Loney. I'm the Deputy Chief of Police. I've been here since 2017. Basically, this is our department's 10-year brief public safety action plan. Okay. All right. So based on the overview, we use a proactive strategic planning approach. I mean, as we know, the city is growing. I've been here since 2017. When I first got here, the population was roughly about 13,400 people. Currently, the population is now estimated around 24,450 people. So it's almost doubled since I've been here in the last 9 years. Again, public safety as a whole requires a collaborative effort between us, the police department, and the fire department, and we work well together, especially like during emergency management services, operating the EOC and other things like that, public events. Again, accountability and transparency, the police department, we've always been committed to and have practiced full accountability and transparency within our department.
Can you get a little closer to the mic? It's the sound in here is a little difficult. Thank you.
Did I go too far? Let's get one. I'm sorry, I haven't used this thing ever. Back. Keep going. Keep going. I'm going to hit enter to go next, right? And then I'm going to hit the arrow to go next. Okay. My apologies. Technology. All right, with decreasing service demands, population growth. Due to the recent population growth here, especially with new people, transient motorists coming through, everybody's coming through Groveland to go to Orlando. You name it, it comes through here. And our biggest problem is traffic. Groveland is primarily a very safe community. I mean, I myself came from Hillsborough County. I love being here in Groveland. I love working here in Groveland. We're primarily safe. We do have a slight uptick in thefts, like burglaries to vehicles, but they're usually unlocked. But we don't have any violent crimes or anything of that nature here. So we're good there. But we are focusing on the traffic complaints. And again, we monitor this regularly to determine what our staffing needs. Currently, right now, as far as, which we'll cover in a few seconds on response time, but hopefully we can get more manpower. So, because Groveland, the way it's designed, going up Village City Road 19 and then cutting over to Cherry Lake area, it's very hard to get to. But we'll discuss that in the response times when I go to the next slide. As far as fleet expansion, our fleet is really diverse. You see we have different types of vehicles. We do have some four-wheel drive vehicles, pickup trucks. We do have golf carts that you've seen at the public events because we can't drive vehicles, of course, through Lake David and at the schools. We have a few ATVs. So we consistently have those on a rotation. All right, the current staffing gap. Right now, Groveland works, we have 1.68 officers per 1,000 people here in the city of Groveland, which is, we're under the nationwide benchmark. And with that, we've been fortunate. We provide excellent service even though we have minimum staffing according to the national average. Optimally, we'd like to have staffing up to 2 to 2.4 people per 1,000 people here in the city. That would ensure definitely good quality service. That would also give us the option, I think it was discussed in the EAR, maybe the mayor may be aware of that, of adding a fourth zone. Currently, right now, we only have 3 zones. We don't have the manpower to open up a fourth zone. So, for example, Zone 3 consists of 27 areas, Cherry Lake, and the North Village City area. But if we kind of split that, we can create a fourth zone, so that will also increase our response times. So then we'll have more manpower, so we don't have one person trying to go from Cherry Lake Farms or, up at Trilogy, trying to make his way all the way across 27 to get to Village City Road. As far as our recruitment, training, and retention, we've been doing really well. So when I got here back in 2017, I don't know who's new to the city of Groveland. I know I was new to the city of Groveland. And when we first got here, they used to say that the police department was a second chance ranch. So over the years, and we continue to do this, and this is also part of, the planning for the next 10 years, we've made sure that we've hired better quality individuals. We've been able to keep better quality individuals. We led by example. We have strong leadership. We gave this department structure. We continue to give it good structure. The only thing that's our biggest nemesis right now is that we have now become a AAA police department. And other agencies are now starting to respect us and ask us that once in a blue moon, we're losing some of our really great officers due to, the financial. A lot of these other agencies are taking them because of, bonuses, and we are putting out really good quality individuals. But as far as recruitment training, all of our officers are all taking career development courses. We encourage them. So there's a good succession plan for us in the future so that, when the chief and I leave, these younger officers will sit there and continue to grow here with the city. Again, community and official support. Ever since I've been here, we've had great support from the community, great support from the city council, the mayor and the council members. Anything we've asked for, they've provided to us, and I think they got a good return on their investment for the last 9.5 years since we've been here. We don't have many citizen complaints, so I know our guys are doing a good job, and I'm proud of what they're doing and what they're accomplishing. AI and data-driven policy. I know the mayor's very fond of AI things. We have a few technological things that we're working on right now. Currently, some of you know that we have the drone. We have 3 drones right now. We were actually one of the first agencies here in Lake County to actually have a drone program. And that's been very successful. We've utilized that to locate missing children, suspects that are running from the police. We are expanding the CAD, which is the computer-aided dispatch, and the RMS, the record management system. Currently, right now, we're on a Spillman program, which is, we piggyback from the county. But right now, we're upgrading to the Premier One system, which is owned by Motorola. So hopefully that will take effect within the next 6 to 7 months. They've been working on it for the past two years, so hopefully it will come to fruition. That assists all the officers with call taking, the dispatchers with call taking, and with the enhancements, it's going to assist with officer safety and GPS coordinations and things of that nature. Some other things of technology that we have is, I don't know if anybody's aware, we have the DART firearm training simulator. We got that last year. We utilized that to help develop proficiency with officers, in tactical situations. We also utilize it during the citizen firearm training sometimes for the public so they could see how we relate in the shoot, don't shoot situations. And there's so many different things. We've recently upgraded to Panasonic Toughbooks. We've been working with IT. We've been enhancing our GPS system in the vehicles. With the response times, currently we are running at 6 minutes and 30 seconds. The current average response time for the 911 calls, is 6 minutes and 30 seconds. And the current average response time for non-emergency calls is 7 minutes and 17 seconds. Again, those numbers will come down. That's the average. Those numbers will come down, I believe, if we create that Zone 4. Because that'll give us an extra person on this side and will definitely cut the amount of distance. Our biggest struggle right now is the traffic. And that's something that we don't have wings, so it's kind of difficult to get there. But those are really good response times, especially for being in a rural area where you have to, everything is vined out. There's no direct path to anywhere. I'm a little concerned about when they start working on this bypass, how much more that's going to create an issue. But we will overcome it, and we will still continue to provide you the excellent service that we've been giving you. Community engagement, accountability, and long-term commitment. You see us out here. We're at every event. We go to all public city events at the parks, venues, July 4th, Founders Day, the Christmas parade. We engage we have that citizens firearm training that's been going on for the last 2 years. That's well received by the public. They come down. We have an open door policy. Anybody that's ever come to me, there's no problem with us coming to us. We engage with them all. Anybody can call me, and they're more than welcome to come up to my office at any time. Chief is the same way. And I'm just going to end with probably one of the best events we had this year was the Christmas toy drive, which Sergeant Delp spearheads every year. Again, that particular event featured an interactive holiday-themed challenge in which children were required to visit designated locations throughout our community to locate and secure a golden ticket, granting them access to the Christmas celebration, similar to the concept to the classic Willy Wonka experience. That's all I have. But I'm open to any questions you may have. I'm ready to answer what you need.
Thank you. Did we want to do fire and then questions after?
The plan was to have everyone present. However, if you want to have questions now, you can do that now if you choose to.
Well, I have a quick question that you may or may not have the answer to, but might be able to Google if not. You said we're performing better than the national average on response time, but the presentation didn't state what that national average response time is.
I did have that information. I provided it when they did the EAR. I don't know if you were there. I don't have that with me. I didn't know I was going to need that number, but I did provide that information. But we are lower than the national average as far as our response times to 911 calls. But that information is out there, so I don't know if you want me to bring it to you, but Alan should have it because he was also part of preparing for the EAR.
It'll be provided to you.
We'll have Dwayne.
Yeah, so they do. I provided that information. They have it.
Okay, great. Thank you. Anything else before fire presentation?
Is that the police shooting range?
I'm sorry?
Is that the police shooting range?
Yes, and that's something else we
Thank you.
developed over the years. Remember, Groveland never had we've made so many accomplishments. It's just so many that we would be here all day. But that's something that we made back there behind the water tower, behind the old city barn. So we have our own firearm. We don't use rifles. It's strictly handguns because of the backdrop. But yeah, I mean, we're proud of that. We're proud of that.
I know personally, I've used that training simulator with the city of Claremont, and I delayed that 1 second, and I would be dead in a real-life situation.
Right.
So for me, as a hands-on, that was a very big eye-opening experience. So I think that even more residents and more of our community should be aware of those. So
And we were fortunate. We were able to get a portion of that was given to us by a grant, and the grant money actually came from PRM, which is the insurance company that insures, that we pay to insure the city. So it was kind of a kickback. We paying them thousands and thousands of dollars, and they gave us $5,000 or $7,000 to purchase that item. So it was a win-win for us.
it's really life or death,
Yes.
split-second decision. You don't
Yeah.
realize it until you put
It
yourself
is.
in that scenario as a
It is.
civilian citizen.
Thank you so much. We appreciate your service.
I have a question.
Oh, go ahead.
Do you have like a neighborhood watch program that you go around different communities to establish if they're having problems in their communities, like specific?
No, we haven't, we don't have one currently.
Are
that's
y'all
not-
trying to work with other communities to establish that?
I know initially before, a lot of the HOAs would ask for us to come and attend some of their events. Usually Chief Ramsey would go to most of them. But I haven't seen any requests lately for these neighborhood watch. Again, the city, in my opinion, and just based on, statistics, in our crime reporting, that we don't have a lot of stalkers and lurkers, and we should be happy, we should be proud of that type of activity is going on. But I don't think we're going to have a problem if somebody wanted to create a neighborhood watch program.
Well, I know in my HOA, there's a problem with vandalism and trespassing in the community pool area. People who are not in our community climbing over the fence, getting in, destroying the tables, the umbrellas, things of that nature. So that's why I'm asking, because I'm going to suggest.
Well, what we do, just for example, what we do for something like that, like private property, we have a trespass authorization form that the person that owns the property, the business or whatever, if you're not around, if you fill out this trespass authorization form, that gives us the power and the authority to go and look at those neighborhoods. And if we see somebody that's in the pool after hours, say the pool closes at 7 and they're in there swimming at 9 o'clock, well, that trespass authorization form gives us the power to go over there, interact, make citizen contact, and if they're trespassing, we can issue them a trespass warning on behalf.
I'm aware of that. They already have that, but it's not solving the problem. That's why I'm asking if you have some kind of neighborhood watch program, because just having the permission for you to come in is not solving the
Currently-
situation.
Currently, we do not, but I mean, that's something we can look into
Yeah.
for future planning.
And do you have like, on your staff, some kind of community liaison person that can handle the non-emergency issues, within a community? Do you have somebody like that, a community liaison that goes around to the different communities and see if there's any issues? I know we're not a high crime area, but there are other small misdemeanor things that may be happening behind the scene that not everybody has to call 911 for.
Currently, we do not. We had one community outreach person who kind of wore two hats, which was one of our sergeants, who's now been placed at the school. But due to manpower issues, we don't have one designated person to work community outreach. But before we did, but now that person is covering the middle school. So because of manpower issues, we don't have that liaison. But that was the person that would go out to all the businesses. For example, when you go to these businesses, and you see those QR codes with the patch, and we scan those, and we do the business checks and things of that nature. But currently, we do not, but that's because of a manpower issue, because we had to cover one of the schools.
And I have two other minor things. Does your officers have mental illness training, like?
Yes,
If there's a
annually.
situation, so it's only once a year? Like, what is that, like a week type of training, or is it just a one day? Because I think that should be more frequent.
They have two courses. One is for themselves, it's like the resiliency course, and it's
Right.
online, you take it once a year. And then the other one is also for mental illness awareness for the citizens, so that when we encounter citizens, we understand, do they have autism? Are they bipolar? Things of
Yeah.
that nature, so we know how to interact with them. So we do have those two courses every year annually, and it's mandated by the FDLE as well.
And what about de-escalation tactics training? How often is that? Like, if there's a situation, not to move to the next level where they will just like quickly de-escalate a situation.
Well, we don't so much have training, but we have policy. And again, de-escalation is to be utilized, it shall be utilized when you can. It all depends on what the circumstance it is. Sometimes you can say, hey, wait a minute, take a breath, calm down. Sometimes you may have a zone partner that's there that can assist you and say, let me step in, I'll intervene. We try to de-escalate, but every situation is completely different. But it's in policy, and there are many, trust me, I watch a lot of these body cameras. Not just for the complaints. I mean, I continually sit there and just oversee. I'm checking on the processes. And I look at these body cameras, and let me tell you, our officers have a lot of restraint. I mean, I've seen people spitting on these officers, and they have a lot of restraint. Again, we don't have a lot of citizen complaints because of officers being overly aggressive. We don't have that. Every citizen complaint that comes in goes through me. And I review, and if anything that needs to be looked at, all complaints are handled. So if somebody makes a complaint, they immediately get a response from me within 24 to 48 hours. That's in our policy. That's an accreditation standard. So nobody's ever overlooked. But we have it in policy, but we really don't have officers that are out here thumping people. It's not like before I got here in 2017. And I'm not trying to cast shade on the previous administration that was here, because they were on Facebook, YouTube, doing nonsense. I mean, I personally will not tolerate that. And most of these guys will tell you that I'm probably, the one they don't want to be in front of, because I'm a disciplinarian, not that I have to. It's kind of like being a dentist, it's the necessary evil. But we don't have that. We don't have that problem. But we do have de-escalation in policy, but I can assure you, our guys are not out here just thumping people for no reason.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
I just wanted to
Thank
say,
you.
Alan founded the response time nationwide, just wanted to share with you. Go ahead. You can read it verbatim.
Well, so what we received from the police chief for emergency priority calls 911, the typical response time is within 5 to 10 minutes, with under 5 minutes being ideal to increase arrest probability. And then he also added, in rural response, due to geography and staffing level, rural response often exceed 50 minutes or more. This was a report that we got from our police chief.
Alan, I'm sorry, did you say 15 or 50?
15, 1-5.
So rural is 15.
Yes.
And then
Urban
In
is,
urban
urban,
and
more,
suburban is
it says
10 is
typical.
5 to 10.
Yes, 5 to 10 minutes for urban agencies. And we have to look at the unique geography of Groveland, where we have the Paralacaja River. We only have a few crossings, and also we as the deputy chief pointed out, we have kind of lower staff levels. So if you have more police officer, you can be stationed more throughout the city, potentially also improving the response time. But it also starts with the geography of the place.
Thank you. Right, we're looking at fire now, is that right?
Good evening. My name is Eric Thiemann. I'm the Deputy Fire Chief of Operations for Groveland Fire Department. You'll have to forgive me. I'm not used to doing a presentation sideways. Hopefully my glasses get me to the screen. I should be okay. I did promise everybody that I've only got 267 slides to go through, but we'll be done by 9:30, I promise. I always do that. Nobody ever laughs. So it's my honor to talk to you tonight about the Groveland Fire Department, the best fire department in the state of Florida. Got a lot of information to tell you about. We're just going to do a brief department overview to tell you who we are as an organization, other than the obvious. Tell you where we are right now, and then what some of our vision is for the future going down the line. So as most of you already know, we provide fire protection services. And so, yeah, shocker. So for commercial and residential, as well as wildland and brush areas as well. We also have a fire prevention division, in which our fire marshal completes not only plan reviews with the, works alongside code enforcement and the building department. He also does annual inspections of all businesses in the city a year. He did 408 alone last year for every business in the city. We also provide EMS. Rescue and EMS services. Rescue being responding to motor vehicle crashes, other types of emergencies, but we provide emergency medical services with paramedics and EMTs on our fire trucks. We also have a specialty team in which we have a dive search and rescue team. We are the only city in Lake County that has a dive search and rescue team. The only other dive search and rescue team is with the Lake County Sheriff's Office, and we actually collaborate with them frequently, and we have responded to calls together, and we actually train together. In fact, last weekend, our team responded onto Cherry Lake and helped rescue a mother and son out of Cherry Lake that came off a jet ski. There was no injury, but they had some challenges getting back on the jet ski, so that was last weekend. We also have a unique capability in Groveland that is similar to our dive search and rescue. Each one of our fire trucks, and there's 3 in the city at each one of our 3 stations, there is what we call a rapid diver setup, which is a compact, readily prepared scuba setup that if we respond to a call where a vehicle or a helicopter or an airplane, seaplane crashes into the water, we're able to get to that call on the fire truck, and they come off the fire truck with the scuba stuff on, like they would with firefighting gear at a fire. So we are the only ones in Lake County that have that rapid diver capability. So, and we have had quite a few cars in the water, and if you even search on YouTube for those instances that have happened just here in Central Florida. There's been quite a few. And one very disturbing not too long ago where the fire department didn't have any training and they had no equipment. And when they attempted to take action, they ended up doing more harm than they did any good. So this is a great capability. We're very proud of it. Our special operations is Marine-based. We also provide community outreach and public education through some fire safety education. We do hands-only CPR, pardon me, as well as some first aid presentations, all with the intention of improving our city's resiliency over time. So for calendar year 2025, we provided 63 hours of program deliveries to the citizens in Groveland and made contact with 7,600 residents just on those educational opportunities alone. And we feel, although that community outreach program directly relates to one of the strategic priorities of being an informed and engaged community. Another one of the core services that the fire department provides is the emergency management side of things. The fire department's responsible for all of our pre- and post-disaster, as well as our recovery efforts and also mitigation efforts for disasters. So some of the things we do under emergency management is we identify risks ahead of time and try to mitigate those risks, whether it be to infrastructure, staffing, equipment, resources, things like that. We also maintain Groveland's emergency management plan. The city of Groveland actually kind of falls under the Lake County Comprehensive Emergency Management Plan, but we as our own community has our emergency management plan as well. And we coordinate with Lake County Emergency Management during disasters. Not only are we attending year-round meetings with emergency management at the county level, but during a disaster, we're connected online to a common site, and all the municipalities in Lake County are all on the same site. We're communicating, requesting resources, whether it be equipment or personnel, things like that. We have that capability as well. We also provide incident command for disasters and large-scale incidents, and as well as the EOC operations, the EOC being located in the public safety building downstairs. That's our emergency operations center when a disaster occurs. We also coordinate post-disaster recovery efforts. And so while there is no one emergency management director in the city, there's not an emergency manager in the city, I get to wear the other hat of emergency management coordinator. So really our emergency management in Groveland is everybody that works for Groveland, and we rely on each other. We pull from our resources internally, whether it be from IT, whether it be from finance, police, fire. Collectively, we're emergency management. I just get to be the lucky guy to coordinate it all. And I love doing it. We also work on finding mitigation grants to improve our resiliency. And so I sit on the Lake County Local Mitigation Strategy Working Group. They just changed their name to a resiliency group. But when federal funds become available and are dispersed to states post-disaster, as a member of the local mitigation group, as a city, we can go in and request funds for projects that we have. We currently have a project for lift station supplemental pumps for the 18 lift stations we have in the city. Post-disaster, if those pumps go down, there's no power, how do you move raw sewage? And so we have a solution, and that grant is actually in the process, and I believe it was 900, if not just over $1 million worth. So we look for projects like that. So what are some of our performance and benchmarks? We're committed to the highest level of service. We evaluate our service coverage to match our community growth. We look at population. We look at how many fire stations we have. We look at how many personnel that we have, how many units can we staff, and what functions will they have. For example, We had a Fire Station 3 location study done a few years ago. The current Fire Station 3 is permanent station is under construction at South O'Brien in 19. They're in a temporary structure right now. The location of that fire station is being built at, although Chief Carroll and I could have told everybody where it needed to go, the study did confirm that that area was where it needed to be based on response times, call volume, et cetera. So we depend on things like that for studies to be done to help us with some of our future planning. Equipment and technology is really important. It's important for a fire department to stay up with the latest technology, whether it be medical equipment, which, by the way, a lot of medical equipment, well, I shouldn't say a lot, we have in the past beta tested some advanced medical products, medical devices, under the supervision of the county's medical director. And after running some trials of some of these items of equipment items, they've been released into the entire system countywide. So we participate in that kind of stuff as well. But technology also includes the digital computer-driven fire trucks nowadays. And so when you have a 10-year-old, 12-year-old fire truck that has a 10, 12-year-old computer on it, this is one of the things we run into as technology evolves. You have to upgrade to the next version of Windows, right? So same thing happens with those technologies. So staying up with technology digitally is very important for us. Part of our high standard is our training, and we do a lot of training. I can tell you right now, our firefighters do not sit around the kitchen table playing cards or poker or whatever. They are training and doing a great many things, as well as running calls, the majority of their 24-hour shift. Our ISO required training each year is 198 hours for firefighters. We exceed that by far. We meet and blow that standard out of the water. On a side note, our fire training, we have to go to Leesburg for, because we don't have a fire training facility here in Groveland. Leesburg has been great. A lot of other agencies go to Leesburg's training grounds. It's a fantastic facility, but we don't have one. Claremont has offered theirs, which is kind of in the process right now, and we hope to start cutting the distance down by going to Claremont for training. But we put a lot of hours in, and it could be not just at Leesburg, but in the parking lot behind the fire station, going out to other businesses, taking the tower truck out to the 1 million square foot building and doing practice setups on that building or wherever. In 2025, we did over 10,500 hours of combined fire and EMS training amongst our fire department. That's a lot of time. Some of that is digital, some of that is online training, which is part of training, and a lot of it also is hands-on. So our response time evaluation, we monitor turnout times and travel times just to kind of see where we're doing good and where we need to do improvements and what changes need to be made. And I'll talk more about turnout times and travel times in just a little bit. They're two different things. So 2025, some of our performance metrics. The average response time for a call, for all call types, EMS, fire, car accident, whatever, this is a 50,000-foot view, for 2025 was 7 minutes and 15 seconds. That's an average of all calls. It also includes some calls that may have been downgraded from an emergency response, and then halfway there, they're told they can downgrade and go non-emergency, which could extend times out. So there's a lot of layers, and again, it's 50,000-foot view. But it's really hard to determine what is your benchmark for response times when we've had some serious challenges with software, and that software interacting with the dispatch software and how it harvests data from that and processes it. We found some loopholes, those things that we are working on and will continue to work on into the future to be able to drill down much deeper on our response times. But if looking at 7 minutes and 15 seconds, you'll see where that fits in nationally. Our ISO rating just went from a 3.3x to a 2.2x. That's an improvement in the ISO standard. The best score you can get is a 1. I don't know if we'll see that in the near future or not, but that's certainly something that we want to shoot for. Right now, we need to maintain that to 2x every 5 years. And we feel like that ISO rating is a reflection, when there's discussion about the ISO rating, the main part of that discussion is, well, what's that going to do for my commercial insurance rates or my home insurance rates? And that's a big part of the conversation. But the other part of it is that's a mirror reflection. That score, that rating is a reflection of the level of what our fire department is. So that's the other part of it. If there's a nominal difference in insurance savings between 3x and a 2x, well, then so be it. But it does show we are at a higher level. So take that for what it's worth. Our operational readiness, we got a strong personnel. Our people are well trained. We have some of the best trained paramedics in the county. 5 of our paramedics are critical care certified paramedics. They are field training officers that help us with training our other EMTs and paramedics as well. And we continue to develop them and just always make sure that we're ready for any type of call that could come in. So just overall, our high performance due to training, response times, ISO rating, and we just need to maintain that going forward as the city's population growth continues to expand. So here's some comparatives nationally. NFPA 1710, what is NFPA? It's the National Fire Protection Association, and they have a lot of standards. The standard 1710 refers to staffing and response times. Those are considered national standards and benchmarks across the country. I don't know of any fire department that can meet every benchmark, every NFPA standard, but we try. A lot of them are very expensive, and so not everyone can afford to meet those standards all the time. However, in NFPA 1710, the recommended turnout time shouldn't be more than 80 seconds. So what's a turnout time? Turnout time is when the firefighters are in the station, the bells ring, they get their gear on, get in the fire truck, and they start moving. So that's turnout time. How quickly do they drop your fork, jump out of the shower, and jump on the fire truck and start responding? That's turnout time. Not to exceed 80 seconds. That's the national standard. First engine arrival time. This is one of the NFPA 1710s that's very difficult for us to maintain or to meet. So for a fire response, when you're going to have multiple units responding to the report of a fire, they want the first engine to be there within 4 minutes. And that can be challenging, especially here in Groveland. We've got a unique geography, a topography, and a road system that makes that very challenging. Now, does it mean that we can't? Of course it can. We could have a fire in the neighborhood across from the fire station. Or 2 neighborhoods over. But if it's a couple miles around Cherry Lake, that could make it difficult for us to meet that 4-minute national standard, the NFPA standard. NFPA says they want EMS units with basic life support, EMT level care to arrive within 8 minutes. Well, our average for all calls is 7 minutes and 15 seconds, and they're showing up with a paramedic. So we're meeting that standard, and we're exceeding it not only in time, but we're also providing a higher level of care. EMTs are emergency medical technicians. They have basic first aid capabilities. Paramedics are a little higher trained. They're able to push medications and use advanced medical devices. So we're meeting and exceeding that standard. And I wanted to throw this in there. It doesn't necessarily pertain to us, but part of that standard and our responses to calls in Groveland is how quickly dispatch is able to process an emergency call at their call center. 911 calls go to Lake County's emergency dispatch center. They meet that standard. They're accredited, and they will push calls out within 64 seconds to get units out and rolling. And that's the idea. So if we have to update you while you're responding with changes to the information of that call, they'll let them know while they're on the way. So punching those calls out as quickly as possible, along with our rapid turnout time, 80 seconds or less, gets us on the road and going. So nationally, what's it look like? Well, we just talked about PD. What are average response times? So in urban areas, typically 4 to 6 minutes for fire units. 4 to 6 minutes in urban areas. Urban areas, Orlando, Tampa, St. Pete, Jacksonville, great infrastructure, great roadways, north-south streets, east-west avenues. You can get where you're going really quickly. with dense number of fire stations as well and other EMS units. So we don't quite match the urban response time. Suburban is 6 to 10 minutes, and we're right in that average. So 6 to 10 minutes, we're 7 minutes and 15 seconds. Rural response times can be up to over 15 minutes. And we respond to some rural areas, maybe in Lake County every now and then for high acuity calls, but within Groveland, we're not considered rural, clearly. So part of looking at our staffing, the number of units that we have, and our response times, which is that juggle of how much do we have, what do we need, and are we doing good enough, and if we're doing good, how do we maintain that? To us, that also reflects one of the strategic priorities of financial health, that we are not overstaffing. We do not have more units and fire stations that we need. We are at where we need to be right now for the short term, what could change down the line. So we're mindful of that as well, and staying within being fiscally responsible, essentially. EMS responses, the same kind of thing. Urban areas are 4 to 8 minutes. Suburban areas are 8 to 12 minutes. Again, we're within the average of 8 to 12 minutes for EMS calls. Again, we lumped all calls together to give a bigger number, and we're still meeting that average. Rural is 20 minutes sometimes, if not even longer. So the last bullet point there, the importance of EMS infrastructure and transport capabilities and having pre-arrival care. These are a number of the components that we are, of the system that we're a part of. While we respond to fire and EMS calls, Lake County Dispatch receives the calls, processes the calls, and we respond jointly with Lake County EMS. Groveland Fire Department has a paramedic on every fire truck, but we don't have ambulances. We do not transport patients to the hospital. Only Lake County does, and that's countywide. And we have a great partnership with them. In fact, we have quartered a Lake County ambulance at the Public Safety Building, and we have quartered a Lake County ambulance at our fire station too. And we're giving them that available and free space because if we can keep the Lake County ambulance in the city of Groveland, then that means they're going to respond faster to our calls. If we didn't have those, where would they be coming from? Claremont, Mineola, Howie in the Hills? So that's part of we have a great working relationship with Lake County Fire and EMS. If you didn't know, that's what we're doing. That's just a graphic of what I already talked about. I'll skip over it because we already hit those numbers. In terms of technology and infrastructure, technology is a big part of what we're doing. And we haven't seen too much AI in terms of the patient care stuff, but we will start to see AI with regards to call clusters and call types and be able to dive into that data and look at what all calls look like and where are the hot areas in the city of Groveland. And so that's all coming. We have a digital alerting system that we just went to, and pretty much countywide, all fire stations have gone to this. This is a new rapid response alerting system that's tied directly to 911. When they click send on that call, the fire stations tones go off. We have red lights that turn on in the building, and it's an expandable alerting system. So new modern technology instead of a bell that used to ring, up on the wall. The voice is programmable. How fast it speaks is programmable. What accent it sounds like is programmable. They've had some funny ones, but I think they got it wired down now. And that system is expandable. We can actually put a timer on the walls inside the bays, so as they're leaving, they can see that timer's been going. How far are you into this call from the bells going off in the fire station to you now finally leaving? So it's just a way to kind of watch yourself. We have integrated communications platforms, which essentially is all of our fire trucks and our battalion chief. They have a laptop that's connected to Lake County Dispatch. They receive call data and updates to their calls and the dispatch notes of calls in their fire truck in real time. When a dispatcher types something in, it shows up on that laptop. We have GPS-based dispatching. I don't know if you guys are aware of this or not, but traditionally, a fire engine would respond to the immediate area around their fire station, and that was their zone. And then the next fire station had their zone. In Lake County, every fire and EMS unit is dispatched based on the closest, most appropriate unit to a call that drops in on a map. It's all GPS-based. It's not just respond in your own zone, because not only do we respond into Groveland, we respond within our ISBA, and sometimes beyond the ISBA, deep into the county or up into Highway in the Hills, but only for high acuity calls or significant fires. And we also utilize traffic signal preemption. I don't know if you've ever been at an intersection and you thought you had the green, and then within 2 seconds it turned to red, and you're like, what the heck happened? And then a fire truck goes by the opposite way. That's part of the traffic signal preemption. And, well, I'll tell you what, let's talk about it more right now. So traffic signal preemption is a device connected to the traffic controller box where these traffic lights are. And our fire truck, by two different means, signal or by GPS position, will trigger this box to turn the light green that is in our direction of travel. So as we approach a clogged intersection that may be stacked up because the light is red, it changes it to green to get that traffic out of the intersection and off to the side of the road. And that doesn't necessarily mean faster response times. It means less occurrences of being choked up at intersections. But we still do need them, especially there's more and more traffic here in the area, and we have more and more intersections going up with different developments that are going in. Here's 10 that are currently in place, these 10 locations. Those intersections are where we currently have them. The last one that was just put in is State Road 19 in South O'Brien, where the new fire station is being built. Again, it just reduces the risk of collisions during going through intersections, which is very, very dangerous to do. So what's our future look like? We have to not only look at today and what we did last year and run off our numbers, but we need to look at what are the trends going forward, what's population doing, what do we need to be mindful of in the future? Well, we need to keep up with the signal preemption program that we have. We need to make sure that key intersections have these devices on them to help. You can't just have 5 or 10 in the city when you need 15 or 20 to really make it work. And not only do we use them, but Lake County units use them as well, so it helps with ambulance responses. We have purchased a number in the past. I think a year ago we purchased 4 for around $8,000 to $9,000. The last one that just went in at 19 in O'Brien, the county actually put in. So that was, we are working together. Some they will be putting in, some will put in, but we'll have to figure that out as time goes on. Looking forward to advanced GIS mapping and call tracking and data tracking. It's one of the challenges that we have right now is software platforms that claim to provide you with all the information you could ever need, but we come to find out there's a lot of loopholes and there's hidden data in there that's skewing the data that's being spit out. So I deal with a Excel worksheet that's 3,825 rows and 30 columns wide, and I have to filter that data down to get real numbers. I can't use these software platforms because they're not 100% pure. So that's been a challenge for us. We're continuing to work with that and find something that'll work for us. That goes to our analytics. We use that, what I just told you. Some of the software platforms, basically it is the Excel spreadsheet. Evaluating our workforce needs, updating our equipment, and adopting new technologies. We have to update our technology. For example, the 10 Panasonic Toughbooks laptops that we use, not only for our patient care reports are digital, but also the computer that's in the fire engines are used the same way. And we come to find out, well, again, these won't take Windows 11 update. We need to replace all of them. That was IT telling us that. That didn't come from us. But we have to stay up with technology so we can stay up and running. Some of our more longer-term strategic priorities, of course, we're going to want to maintain that ISO rating of 2.2x. We're barely into that 2 category, and we want to make sure we're solid into that 2, and always look forward to possibly moving to a 1. So that will always be in our radar. We get evaluated every 5 years. We were just evaluated last year. We want to maintain or increase the minimum minimum fire engine staffing of at least 3, which is what we're currently at, to the current standard of NFPA 1710, which is 4. Now that's the national standard, and some of those are expensive, but we are at a 3 right now. Future planning to have 4 and meet that standard, it'd be nice. We want to maintain adequate fire and EMS coverage using 1 fire station per every 7,000 to 10,000 residents. Now that came from the consultant. The average in Florida is 1 fire station per 10,000 residents, not a rule, average. And the consultant said, but for unique areas like Groveland that are geographically, topographically challenged, driving around lakes to get from point A to point B, use the 7,000 to 8,000. Well, if we're at 25,000 people right now, we're at 3 fire stations. We are at 3 fire stations for 8,000 residents right now. So some of that is what we have to consider going down the line. Doesn't mean you build a fire station next week. The money's not there to come in to help fund that fire station to support the staffing. But we already know where we're at, and we already know what the future's gonna bring. We're gonna meet that 7-minute and 15-second total response time for all calls, and one day we're gonna have so much better data. And I can tell you, it's my belief, because of the murkiness of the data that we've received, we are significantly better than that. And we're gonna be able to break down response times to fires, emergency calls, non-emergency calls, and EMS calls, and get a better feel for where we're at. But 7 minutes and 15 seconds average for all our calls is within the national average. And as necessary, we're going to continue to budget for additional traffic signals, preemption devices as needed. We monitor. I'm on the local traffic safety committee within the city. One of my colleagues, Division Chief Walsh, he is a member of one of the traffic boards that are county-wide. So we have 2 of us that are looking at traffic stuff, as well as we interact with TJ Fish and other traffic issues. We want to expand our firefighter staffing, possibly using grants that will allow us for full-time staffing of a quick response vehicle. So over the course of a year or 2, Chief Carroll and I have bounced around a couple of plans where we could streamline, make some efficiencies in our operations and our staffing deployment, push back some costs in terms of when we have to purchase a fire truck for $1 million. Increase staffing, but have long-term cost savings by changing some of our deployment. And instead of running our tower truck with 3 people to all these medical calls constantly and adding wear and tear, we would put a 2-person advanced life support paramedic unit that would run those calls. And there's a lot more to that story, but that's what I'm referring to as a quick response vehicle. We want to look forward to what the future UAV and drone opportunities are with new technologies and AI. We currently have 2 drones. We have 1 FAA certified pilot. We have another 1 or 2 in the barrel right now. We need to get more of those people trained because it's a great resource. And I had to throw that in there. We need to fund emergency management. It's a department in the city that doesn't exist. It's a line item, but we need to have money set aside for any purchases that we may need to make pre-storm before something happens. And real quick, the picture you see right there was taken on Monday using our drone. That is a infrared image, colorized infrared, clearly blue being coldest, red being the hottest areas, of a brush fire, technically in Mineola, along the turnpike. If you see the turnpike at the top of the photo there. And so that's very useful when our division chief responds out to fires, structure fires, commercial fires, brush fires, and he launches this at the scene and goes to the incident command post and says, here's your fire from above. You can see where it's going, what it's doing, what's happening. We were able to recover somebody who drowned up here on 19 at the boat ramp using that drone by flying over. We were able to locate that position and bring that person home to their family. So there's a lot of usability for that, and there's a lot more technology coming in the future. I'll leave you with this. This is the same fire. This is the live camera shot of what the incident commander can see. Now, there's no fancy fire in this short little version. But this is what they use at the scene. This is great technology for us. It improves our efficiencies on the fire ground or elsewhere. And we hope to continue using that and have more FAA pilots under our belt. Can you guys push play, please? I'll do it. Oh, here we go. That's just what it looks like from the air. That is actually hovering by itself. You push a button, the thing will hover for you. You can rotate left and right, look up and down, change your infrared settings. You're able to see that path right there. That was cut by a Division of Forestry tractor as a fire line. So now the incident commander can see where the fire lines are and where we have fire breaks. Anyway, that's it for Groveland Fire Department. Thanks for your patience and your time.
Thank you. That conclude the presentations? Yes? Okay. We will take questions from the board, and we'll start here with Ms. Hoover.
Deputy Chief, you said that out of the 25 Lake County ambulances that we currently have here, 2 are always in Groveland, like 24/7 parked in bays at our stations?
Yeah, so they're not always in Groveland because we offer them a station to house their crews at. And when they're not on a call, they're there. They may get dispatched to a call in Groveland with our units. They also may get dispatched to a call in Lake County or Mineola. They may get caught in the system as call volume just happens to ramp up. But if we keep them in town 25% more than we would if they weren't here, then that's a win-win for the city.
So that's something that we plan on adding on in, say, phases of future fire departments for building purposes.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
Do we have to add that in, or are you already factoring in for future buildings for our department?
So currently, Fire Station 3 has a section as part of the construction plan. If we choose to take that option in the future, it is not going to be built out like the rest of the fire station is. It's just going to be shelled out. We don't know what that space will be, but anything's possible in the future.
Well, in other words, we're not going to have the trouble that Claremont's going through right now because they have no place for any Lake County ambulances. And that was a big discussion at their county board meeting last week.
Yeah, we've got a great relationship with them, and we know their crews very well. They know our crews very well.
Okay. Ms. Kissy?
No, no questions.
Mr. Proctor?
Thank you.
Ms. Lambert?
I was just wondering, does your EMS paramedics, staff, are they trained to, like, for example, detect stroke victims? Like, what is, like, the response time if somebody is, having a stroke? Because I know that's very critical.
Yeah, they are trained to identify and treat strokes, heart attacks, other illnesses, as well as injuries. Time is always critical with a critical patient, whatever they're suffering, whether it be illness or injury. The good thing is that when they're on the phone with 911, they have people trained to give them pre-arrival instructions. And so they're being told what to do in advance of us getting there and kind of in preparation. So we don't always exceed 7 minutes and 15 seconds, but we also respond quicker than 7 minutes and 15 seconds.
So I know that certain hospitals have like what they call mobile stroke units. So for us being in a rural area and say somebody is in a unincorporated area having a stroke, would you go to a stroke unit, mobile unit versus a hospital if it's quicker? I'm just curious.
So they would be, if they were diagnosed by field clinicians, paramedics, as possibly having a stroke based on following our protocol, and we identify the signs and symptoms, they would be transported to a primary stroke center in which they have the appropriate staff and appropriate treatments for people having a stroke, whatever kind of stroke it would be. That's where they would go. They wouldn't be brought to an ER that is not a stroke center. And I think every hospital or South Lake and
But that's not what I mean. I mean, like, they have mobile units that
Yep,
circulate.
I've seen that presentation.
I'm wondering, do you make the decision, because time is of the essence, to go to one of the mobile units, because they have the equipment on there, they have the staff,
Yep.
versus saying you have to go to the nearest hospital ER with, especially if it's during traffic, like, you know, evening traffic, you're not going to make it in time. Even if people move out the way, it's still, time is of the essence. I'm just wondering if you've had situations like that. Do you have protocols? Do you do that? Because to me, that would make the best sense rather than try to take them all the way to the ER.
Certainly. So I did see that mobile stroke unit. It's fascinating. It's fantastic. The program that they have up and running right now is limited. I think they're working up in Marion County or near Ocala, and then they have another unit that's out. It's grant funded, and it would need to be approved to work within the Lake County EMS system. I think it has its uses, but we also have the capability of actually transporting someone by air. If they,
Okay.
Yeah, so in the lack of having a ground stroke unit, we will fly them for the most rapid transport to a stroke center.
Okay,
Comprehensive stroke center. That's what it's called.
okay. Let's see. Okay, you said something about advanced medical training that your staff has. What do you mean by that when you say advanced medical training?
Maybe two things. Maybe I'm confusing two different things, or you're confusing two things that I'm saying. So basic life support, first of all, would be the EMT, BLS.
Right.
ALS would be the advanced life support. Advanced life support means paramedics.
Right.
Some of the advanced paramedic training that we have is we have 5 of our field training officers are critical care paramedics, which is a very, very in-depth, long, very challenging program. People who are critical care paramedics work on the trauma helicopters and things like that. In fact, our division chief of EMS, who's a critical care paramedic, used to be an instructor for med students at University of Florida in their cadaver lab and things like that. So they have a lot of more training than your paramedic that is on the street right now.
Is that like equivalent to like a critical care nurse?
Nope, critical care paramedic, a little bit different. By state statute, paramedics can only operate within certain confines. RNs are a little bit different.
Okay. And one last question. Your rural response time, does that take into account our neighbor mascot? Are you just basing, when you say rural, because mascot is considered rural too, are you just basing it just on Groveland, or are you also basing it on our neighbors? Because like on Villa City, one side is Groveland, the other side is Mascot.
So the urban, suburban, and rural average response times are national. Our 7 minutes and 15 seconds are for calls only run in Groveland.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I have a few, I'm doing a little math over here. First off, thank you, you three, for everything you and your teams do.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Your job is to help keep us safe, and you do a great job of that. What we've been tasked with is to try to help the city plan for the future. So that's where these questions come from, just understand that. So for fire, since you're at the podium, the ideal response time is somewhere in that 4-minute range. It's kind of, you said that we have a unique geography. We're not fully rural. So is there a path that you see that can bring that response time down even more, closer to that 4-minute mark?
Well, the 4-minute average was for urban. So I don't know that we would be able to meet that urban mark. Now, Can we put multiple rescues in and have them roaming the city all day long? It's possible, at what cost? But in all reality, that's an urban average, so we would fall in the suburban, which was, I think, 6 to 10 minutes. But the other part of your question, yes, and what I kind of alluded to before with having this quick response vehicle, it improves some efficiencies for us. As some cost savings and some fiscal responsibility at the same time, a little bit of extra staffing. We're adding another advanced support, life support unit on the road, preventing a lot of things. The next closest fire station from having to respond to a concurrent call in this fire station's area. That one unit could float around while one unit went to Leesburg to train. That QRV would fill as a medical unit, which we run 75% medical calls, 70% medical calls, that would fill that void as well. So yes, I think in this plan, we'd shave some stuff down, but I also think we're gonna see better response times in the near future with better software and greater capability looking at the data that's floating out there from the dispatch CAD.
It sounds very complex, all the...
It is. My brain
data.
smokes every day. It's great.
Those quick response vehicles, what do those look like? Is that like a Super Duty vehicle, like a 550 or something?
We haven't decided that yet, but we're kind of thinking of a Johnny and Roy, if you remember back in the day. So it's probably a Ford F550, F450 cab, probably a crew cab. And the back half of it would just be a level with the top of the cab roof with roll-up doors on the side, enough to carry medical equipment, 2 air packs, and their firefighting gear, maybe some tools as well. So a little faster, not as dangerous to drive as a 48-foot-long ladder truck, and we're saving that wear and tear on an engine or the ladder truck by taking that cheaper, less expensive vehicle and running calls off of that.
Absolutely. Spend a couple $100,000 on one of those instead of drive around the $1 million truck. I like that idea, Let's get a few of those, Mayor. Okay, if I did the math right, you had mentioned that we have 3 stations. That the third is under construction, as we all know, the permanent location. So we're averaging 1 station per 8,000. Again, planning here, looking ahead, we're going to expected to add 13,000 people over the next 10 years, which means we need to build 2 more stations by the next, 10 years from now, right? So we need to be finding those locations.
Yeah.
I mean, I work in construction, so I know it's a long process, right, to go from site selection through engineering, design, permitting, all those things. So I don't want us to fall behind. Sounds like we need to be selecting that next site now.
Yeah, staff has been proactive. We have been having conversations with the fire department and looking at potential locations as a Villa City site with their existing PUD and the new Bright Hill just north of the Turnpike. So.
Okay.
Yeah, that Station 4 location was identified when the Fire Station 3 location study was done. Here's where we think Fire Station 3 needs to be put, and this right now looks like where you're going to need to put a future Fire Station 4. But there's options as you look towards building fire stations. There could be a gradual ramp up of maybe putting just a 2-person QRV in an area that is starting to build that population, but that population is not great enough to support the cost of a fire station. We could ramp things up, and that's where we just need to get creative with how we map things out. And then we also need to look at what things are going to cost down the line, so as you know.
Yeah. Okay, great. I'm very glad to hear that. Ms. Lambert alluded to this, but do we have any current agreements with Mascot or Claremont to help respond? I don't fully understand how that all works.
Yeah, so we respond within the city of Groveland. We respond within our ISB area. That is our interlocal service boundary agreement that we will cover these unincorporated areas within our borders. And then we also have mutual aid agreements with Lake County, Mascot, Claremont, Leesburg. Yeah, all of them. And so dispatch the way things are structured is they want municipalities to respond to their own calls. When a high acuity call comes in, cardiac arrest or a gunshot, a call with reported information that raises that acuity level, they will dispatch the closest unit. So if it happens to be a Claremont unit or the mascot fire truck is at Publix, they will put them on that call in Groveland. And then we do the same thing. So in the end, probably it's a wash. We help out Lake County in the mascot area all the time, but they help us out quite a bit. And the same thing for Claremont and Mineola.
Okay, great. I think that covers my questions for fire.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, for the police, again, just looking at math. Actually, I'm sorry, I had one final question for fire. Oh. I'm sorry. I'm going back, I'm sorry. I know it's late. I just want to make sure I understood the slide. It said something about maintaining 3 firefighters per truck. Is that what I read?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah, so
Can you clarify that?
Yes, sir.
I'm a little dense sometimes.
Our current minimum staffing for a fire engine is 3 people. One of those persons needs to be a paramedic. The other 2 will be EMTs. One of those persons needs to be an officer or a write-up officer. And then, of course, one of those 3 need to be able to drive it. There are other agencies that still have 2 firefighters on a fire truck. If they pull up to a fire with 2 firefighters, they can't even go inside because of our 2 in, 2 out rule and safety. So 3 is a bare bone minimum, and pretty much every day, almost every day, we are bare bone 3 people on each fire truck. We have 1 floater per shift, 1 extra body right now.
The ideal is 4?
Well, again, that's meeting NFPA 1710, and that's in a perfect world. But it can be costly. But yes, ideally, 4 people. NFPA 1710 says 4 people per fire truck and 4 people per ladder truck, 6 people per ladder truck in urban areas, but that doesn't pertain to us.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Can I ask one question?
Yes.
Yeah. You had mentioned the technology to be able to stay up to date. What kind of technology advancements would you need in order to stay up to date?
Whatever AI tells me. No, I'm just so when we buy new apparatus, that's new technology. When we move from each of our fire trucks carry around, we call it's a life pack. It is a heart monitor and defibrillator. You see it on TV. Clear, right? We just moved to the next new version that we're one of few people in the county that are even at that level now. So we're already looking, we joke, we can't always do it financially, but cutting edge is fantastic. We try to be bleeding edge ahead of everything, and we're known for being that way here in Groveland. Anyway, that's an example of technology. We're now from a Life Pack 12 or was it 24 to a Life Pack 35, advanced top of the line pre-hospital monitor defibrillator. That's one of those things. We're using, you've seen it on TV, you watch The Pit, you watch ER, they put airways and tubes into people's throats. Ours have cameras, and they can see with the camera. So technology like that. Technology also like the software that I'm gonna be plugging away at, sitting at my desk, that will help me look at our analytics and what are our metrics and how are they changing over time. I need the best that's out there. And then with the fire trucks, those are all computer driven. Back in the day, when I started in the fire service, there was no computer in a fire truck. Everything was levers, and the gauges had oil in it. There was nothing digital about anything. They had screw-in lights on the pump panel. And now everything is get out and you push buttons. And so that is some of the new technology, and we have to stay up with that because a lot of that technology only has so long of a service life. At some point, it's obsolete.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much.
One last
sir.
question.
Yes, ma'am.
You talked about the training for your personnel and stuff. Do you do community fire prevention? Because I don't really see that posted. I'm like, is it like quarterly or, you know what I mean, where the community can sign up and see a presentation how to prevent fire in their home and stuff like that?
like, so putting on classes, that's one of the things we do the least, and it's also kind of hard to schedule as well, but it's not out of the realm of us doing. Our community outreach division chief, he also wears the hat of logistics. He does apparatus maintenance, station supplies. We all wear a lot of hats, so it's hard to do that on the regular basis. But what I will tell you is we do Fire Safety Month every October. We do the schools, return to school every year. We put out fire safety videos on social media with along with our communications team. Twice a year, we try to put on the utility bill a fire safety message, whether it be don't drop a frozen turkey in a fryer during Thanksgiving, or if during hurricane season, don't run a generator near your house, things like that. So there's a great many things that we do, as well as station tours. But actually having classes where we're going to teach hands-only CPR, we do those, but it's not as frequent as what we'd like to be doing.
Okay, I'm not referring to CPR, but can I get my board of directors for my HOA to reach out to you, and then we can do one for our community? Like, you know, whoever wants to come to the presentation, they can, so that way you can reach a mass number of people?
Yeah, that's fantastic. I mean, we can do a how to use fire extinguishers.
Yeah,
Fire extinguisher
stuff like
use in the
that.
home. We could do first aid. We could do hands-only CPR. There's some options. So yeah, of course.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
All right.
Any other go-backs? No? Okay. All right, and then I had a couple observations for police. So am I correct in reversing the math and concluding that we have 41 officers right now?
We have 40 right now.
40, okay. And if we were to be in line with the national average, we would need to add up to 18 people, 18 additional officers to be in line with national average.
That is correct, to be able to national average.
Okay.
But, like I showed everybody before, Groveland is not trust me, I'd love the mayor to give me 18 more people.
I'm fighting for you.
I would love it. But we are still able to, we're doing more with less. Groveland, as of right now, in the last 9 years, it is not, I have not seen a major uptick in like violence or anything like that. So for right now, we're safe. I can't really project what's going on in 10 years. Hopefully in 10 years, we can get at least half of that number so that we are prepared just in case somebody builds an apartment complex. Because then I can guarantee you, because they're not going to be tangible property owners, they're going to be renters. I mean, I don't want to cast shade on how people live, but we know people that rent, you know, they don't really take a lot of pride. Well, not all. Some don't take pride in where they live, and we may have a problem with that. But yes, in the future, we're probably going to need those. I mean, I would take them now if the mayor and the council want to bless us. That would be great.
Yeah, well, I mean, based on the presentations, there's no doubt that that these departments run lean and mean and do a great job, and so I want to reiterate that. I also want to, again, from a planning perspective, be looking ahead and realizing, hey, we are already lean and mean, and we're growing another 13,000 people over the next 10 years. So if we were in line with the national average, we would add about 18 people, officers now, and then over another 10 years, that's another 31
That's correct. That's
officers.
correct.
So
And just to give you
our police force will double
And just to give you
over the next
perspective,
10 years if we're in line with those averages.
we got here in 2017, we only had like 22 cops. And that was with a population of 13. And I think we were still below that. But, you know, we've been fortunate that this is a community that, but now I worry because everybody's driving through Groveland. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, before Groveland had this little stigma, but now we're the city of natural charm, and a lot more people are coming to visit. A lot more people feel comfortable coming through our community because we've made it so safe, and we've made it so approachable. So,
Well, I mean, we're a freight corridor, north to south,
Yeah.
and then we're a commuter corridor from
Yes.
west to east. So we might be 24,000 on paper, but we know there are plenty more people on the streets. And then lastly, you had mentioned a zone 4, and if we went to a fourth zone, that would reduce response times. My question to you is, are we able to go to the 4-zone approach with our current staffing, or would that require additional officers?
Yeah, we would require additional people. We'd have still, right now, we would still have to, we're down about 4 or 5 people right now. We would have to fill that, and then we would, to get that zone 4, we would have to have at least 2 shifts. So with a minimum of 3 people per, well, 1, 2, with a minimum of 4 people, because we'd have to put somebody in that area for their rotation. So we'd have to have at least 4 people to create that 4th zone.
Per shift or in total? You're
No,
saying
in total.
In total.
Because they work 14 days, 2 days on, 2 days off every other. So you need somebody to work the night shift, the day shift on the A rotation, and on the B rotation, you need somebody to work the night shift and the day shift. So I would need 4 people to create that zone 4.
Okay, so in the very immediate
That's
future,
that's at the
that
minimum.
would be a nice target, a nice. I mean, we're already running below national average, right? So
Correct.
If we could go to a 4th zone, I just want to understand what that requires, and it sounds like that's 4 more officers.
Correct.
Okay, excellent. Well, again, thank you so much for being here and working late and allowing us to ask a lot of questions. We appreciate everything you guys do.
Anytime. Thank you.
Okay, do we have any comments? We're concluding our presentation portion. Do we have any comments from the public? Mr. Proper.
Hey, it's been a little while since I've been at this location. Some few things I want to just kind of share with the council to raise awareness.
Sorry, for the record, can you just name and address? Yeah, that's the standard.
That is a standard formality, and you're correct. I'm Bob Proper, 395 Catherine Lane, Groveland, Florida. A few things that and I'm willing to put some more data together and come back, and we can have a further discussion just in the interest of time. It's already late. There's a few things. I had heard, the discussions about the cost of services and what that means for taxes. I actually went out and found the research that I'm willing to share with everyone concerning the cost of services. This is produced by the USDA or some subsidiary of that. And the gist of the Reader's Digest version of this is that if I have $1 in tax that I'm receiving from a residence, that costs the city $1.16 to service that $1 in tax that I get. That's a net loser, right? Now, I know residents are going to happen. I'm not anti-growth in any way, but I think we need to look at some balancing. Conversely, commercial business, I get $1 of tax, and it costs me 30 cents to service that. So there's going to be, like I said, I'd like to come back at a later time and we can refine some of this just in the interest of time, but I'd like for us to take a look at our commercial corridors, 27, 50, possibly some portions of 19, but largely the big state roads, and how we're addressing these commercial, we need grocery stores. We need other services out in this area. Every time I've got to go into, I don't even like shopping at Publix anymore because it's underparked and it's always too busy. So that means I got to travel even further to Claremont to get my services. And what does that mean? That means my tax dollars are leaving, I'm burning up gas, and we're going against everything that we've talked about from the beginning. For those of you that you don't know, I was here as part of the beginning of the original P&Z when we set these new codes. I spoke even then about the need for commercial corridor zoning and some of the refinements that I'd like to see on that. And again, I'm going to shorten this up, but commercial is a win for the city. for the people, for our tax base, and for everything that we need to bring in here. And then if you throw Mascot on top of that, they have less than nothing out there, so they're relying on Groveland, and we're relying on Claremont. So we've got a real problem here. Part of that is land. First of all, we have a huge handicap that I don't know, I know we can't resolve, and I think it's going to take some of our state issues to resolve. So we have what's called a green swamp overlay. Now that varies. I have the maps. I'm happy to share it with you. It varies, but largely defined by everything south of 50-ish. Okay, there's some places that mark out. So some of the prime commercial, potential commercial property that we have within the city area, we can't use because of this arbitrary line. Now, I understand we have to have arbitrary lines because it's too hard to define. And for those that don't know, the green swamp is set up to protect our aquifer. We need to make sure that this recharge zone down here in the green swamp, that we have water, and that's where it goes. You know, that's the main recharge for our aquifer. So we absolutely have to protect it, but we're going to need to address some of these commercial zonings and the arbitrariness of just drawing 50. 27, believe it or not, is the other line. So technically, anything west of 27 and south of 50, you can't do commercial development in, loosely, right? Again, I'm going to stop just in the interest. I'm bringing some topics that I'd like for us to be able to discuss. The commercial corridor zoning, you know, we've segregated into these town core, town, village, hamlet, and the subs, and I think we're going to have difficulty implementing it. Look at what happened at Waterside. They did all that whole community. Take a look at that 15 acres on the front side of that was designated for commercial. That's one example. I could point out examples like that all around the city where right up 19, just past 27, Arrowhead, not Arrowhead, but I'm wanting to say Blue Cedar and it's not, Blue Springs, commercial property. No one's going to go there because it doesn't match market. So I think we need to take a look at how we're defining our commercial codes and how we're going to address that. Again, in the interest of time, I'd also like to understand, and I may have missed it, but did we finish our landscape update and get that code approved? Okay, so that was, when I left the board in 25, we were looking at that in August of 24. We were supposed to get that finished. So where is that? We need to get those codes finished and finalized. And then also the maps that were shown on the zoning for the year. Are there, I know those are no longer, or they weren't available online any longer. How do we get to see those individual parcels and how that's being defined so that we can have discussions on that?
We're 90% done. We've been working diligently with our other consultant, Francis, and getting those updated, getting the correct ordinances in place for the ones that we've done incorrectly. I think we're close to now working with the legal team. I forgot.
Ishback Dominic.
Ishback Dominic. I'm getting used to it. To do a legal review of that as well. And
Okay.
once we
so where
have
does
that completed,
citizen involvement come in that?
citizen involvement probably will come during the workshops we'll have with the other elements of the year update.
Okay. I have more, but again, I want to be respectful of the time. We have some things that we need to address that are significant. We need the tax base here. You know, we're drowning. We're upside down, and commercial is a help. I'm not going to say it's going to solve it, but it's going to be a big help. So I'll be back. Thank you.
Do you have an electronic copy of that?
I can email this to everyone, whoever wants it.
You can send it to me and I'll share it with the planning.
Absolutely.
All right, thank you.
Thank you for sharing those numbers with us, Mr. Proper. Given everything that we just discussed and how we could use additional staffing, that tax base could be very useful. All right, do we have any other public comment? Sir, please state your name.
Lefty?
He can do it for you.
Start the clock, yeah.
Yeah, start the clock, start the clock. No.
Can I have that back? 'Cause I can't see. I'm here to talk, I'm Keith Keogh. I'm at Hunt Island. It's just Hunt Island, you know. But I'm here not to talk as a city official, but as a former member here, and some things that I have learned since I was a former member here, and would like to put it in front of you to discuss. And then so the first thing is, can we look at this map that's in front of you? And can I understand what the yellow means, please? The yellow. The yellow.
On the proposed, on the proposed map,
Yeah, there's yellow there.
it's highlighted. Those are the ones that have discrepancies that need to be
Right.
changed with the correct future
Okay.
land use.
So that's very important to me as a citizen, those yellows, and your planning and zoning. And on the planning side, you see in discrepancy the whole Cherry Lake Tree Farm, that on our current land use, it says it's mixed use property, and though it's zoned agriculture. And I just want us all to remember what our ratios were, 51%, not of the utility district, it's of the city of Groveland to remain agriculture or conservation. There's also several others along 19 that are currently zoned as agriculture, that on our future land use map currently that's in discrepancy now are designated as mixed use. Which really takes things away from what our citizens and we all said. So as that comes before you, I'd really appreciate you taking a look at that, because I don't know about our new attorney, but our old attorney said if it was in, I think some of you might have been there, I know one of you have, when we would bring up a zoning change from ag, that somebody wanted to change from ag to mixed use, and we were told because it was on the future land use map, we had to go by that, and we could not stop the zoning change. Remember all those that we had? So that map, if that still holds, really it needs to be looked at by the planning group and say, wait a minute, why is this switching from ag, and how does that go with our strategic plan? Earlier, you had a great agricultural area that I thank you, Ms. Hoover, for bringing that up, that's being converted into commercial. And there's in your planning stages, I wish you would get with our attorney and talk about mitigation. And I do know that there's some other places that do mitigation, not only for wetlands, but for agricultural land. And if somebody wants to take 10 acres or 100 acres or 1,500 acres to make it commercial or to make it residential, there should be, just like on the grassland, you need to buy agricultural land to offset that so the city's ratios can stay in line. So I hope as you're going through and talking about that would be something that you would consider and bring to the table. And then as a citizen, let me just ask, please, this is the zoning board, and if we as a city pass certain regulations in our code, that they get enforced. On the way in here today, I counted 11 of these blade signs that clearly in our code, it says you can't have them. They're even downtown as you go along on all of our areas. So my message is, if we're not going to enforce it, change it back. If we're going to enforce it, enforce it. But to have stuff on the books and not enforce it just delegitimizes us in the public's eye, because we say one thing and we do another. Next is commercial versus residential. I really appreciate what you said about the global issue, but the county of Lake, The LEAD, the LEAD people came up with a great presentation that said for every house that we take $1 from, it's $1.10 out. And for every commercial establishment we take $1 from, we pay 43 cents. I'm saying that because we might have been a little, and I'm pointing at me, we might have been a little off in adopting the strong towns a little bit too quickly. The high density puts a lot more people in one area, and it costs us a lot more. Now, what does that cost mean? Monday night, if you're at the meeting, we're $39 million in debt for our operational budget. We take in 16 in ad valorem tax, 16. And overall, we take in about 34. So if we take in 16 million in ad valorem and we're spending 34, it's a heck of a lot more than 10 cents on a dollar. So as we look at preserving farmland and conservation land, they make money because we're not losing 10. You know, I was a chef. I learned early on I could sell a hamburger at a discount or at a loss, and I couldn't make it up in volume. You know, if you're losing on one, you're losing on 1,000. And we've got to take a different approach than we have been taking about high density and keeping agriculture, because what we're doing is just continually putting out more money than we're taking in. How much more money? Wastewater treatment, right now, $75 million upside down in a loan. We're taking a loan. 26% is what I heard was the percentage of debt of what we take in. But next year we go from $480,000 to $3 million and $800,000 a payment, and the following year $4 million is going to keep going up. The next plant, that only takes care of what we've got now. The next plant is $119 million. Just think, $119 million. So just let's relook at density, you know, because the more we compact, the more we lose. And remember too, even on our wastewater treatment, if it's an apartment, they don't pay the $13,000, correct? They pay $7,000, about half the price. In a 2-bedroom apartment, I don't know how much less water and how much less times they flush the toilet, you know? And so we need to really think about that. Let me just pull my notes back up, please. And land preservation on we've also on the planning side, could we look at changing the strategic plan a little bit that says we're going to go out and buy conservation land? We don't need to go out and buy conservation land. We don't have enough money. But if we could partner, and you could put in your quiver that we could partner with the Rural Families Act, the Rural Families and Lands Protection Act, and as well as the Florida Forever. Florida Forever is more for environmental, but what the state does is they'll pay you so much per acre for the development rights. You get to keep the land, the farmer gets to keep the land, everybody gets to keep the land, but it can never be developed. It always has to be conservation or agriculture. Our money will go a lot further with that than it will be buying any kind of land. And our goal is to keep the 51%. And if we buy land, we got to take care of the land. So if we can, as you're in your planning sessions, start thinking about how we can most effectively keep the land and us not having to add to our debt, it would be really good. Right now, the average that they give an acre from the state is about $4,500. That's not enough for this area, but if we add another couple thousand, it might. And if we've had so far $250,000 for some grasslands, and we had a proposal for $750,000 for some Howie in the Hills. Just think of $1 million, how much more land we could protect. It's hard. It's hard. I can't use this hand. Fire protection. Yeah, I thought you left on me. Fire protection. You heard how much, our fire station was 9, now it's up to about 11, right? Is that what I heard? That's without FF&E, right? That's just the 11. So we take on our impact fees, we get for fire prevention $541 per household. If we get 2,000 more houses out there, multiply that out. That's not enough to get anywhere near what we need to get. And we keep talking about more and more. Well, 2,000 houses, 6,000 people, and, and we have to, if we set up here, growth pays for growth. Growth isn't paying for growth, And so I'm not shy about telling the developers, come back, table it, come back when we've got it. But we've really got to work on that. And thank God for some of these developers that have started to change and are taking their houses down to, by a couple thousand and putting things in for us. But we've really got to make sure that we take care of that. So I'll go back, signage code, commercial versus residential. Remember the new turnpikes going in? Please look at that map, the turnpike interchange at O'Brien that I can't say it's going in, but we're presenting a check for $75 million to the state, not us, but the developer, to put one in to get that going. That really, really opens up that 27 corridor for commercial. And we need to make sure that it's zoned correctly so we don't have any issues down the road for that whole 27 corridor to go in. And that's about it, except when we talk about police officers. I love our police officers, and I love the county, and I know we're a few short, but we will add more, I believe, as a citizen. As we get nightlife, as we get restaurants, as we get things that we will need more per capita than we have now. And I look at it from the other standpoint, it's $168,000 for each police officer. So when you're talking 10, and we got to get there, but we've got to quit subsidizing other people to build houses and keep the general fund for that kind of thing. And we can't do both. $112 million is our debt right now, altogether. We've got about 9,500 houses in this city. So I really love the zoning, but you all are planning. You got the best minds in the city right here, and everybody will listen to you as you present, but we need to start balancing this out. We've got a lot of balancing to do. So please take a look at that. Take a look at the Cherry Lake Tree Farm, 1,400 acres going to, please. And think about also what that's going to do to traffic times 3 people, 3.01 people per house. Thank you for the time.
Thank you very much. Hey, do we have any comments? That closes public comment. Do we have any comments from the board members?
I just have one comment. Go ahead. Email that Dwayne has sent out, I'm just curious.
Can you make sure you're speaking into the mic, please?
Did everyone get a chance to look at the video? I'm just curious. I know Marty did.
It was sent out a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
I did get a response back from 2 people. I'm not sure if everyone had an opportunity to look at it. It's very informative.
I just would like to suggest.
Yep. Anything else?
Speaking of the toy drive, if anybody wants a photo of this, or I can take a picture and text it or email it to Dwayne and he can disperse it. This is the Groveland Police Department presenting the Tropical Christmas in July at Ace Hardware and partnering with O'Reilly's as well as Dynamic Design Automotive. They're doing the toy drive and the raffle on July 25th, 2026 from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Right here in Groveland, a special visit from Santa with local vendors, explore unique offerings from neighborhood businesses. And this year, it is not just vehicles, they've added motorcycles. So any type of motorcycle can come and join in as well. And of course, Unwrapped toys only for the car show as and a $10 fee if anybody wants to, participate with your fancy vehicles. And of course, they would love an unwrapped toy. Boys, girls, any dollar amount, anything is appreciated and welcome. So thank you for letting me share that. I have one other thing too. I'm sorry, I'm trying to be quick. I know it's late. Recently, with some of the things that have come in front of us, we've had topography come up, and I know Marty's brought this up, and I've brought it up, and we don't want to see anything get flattened. We want to see those hills and that, topography stay true to our area. And after we talked about that, someone from the audience came up to me and said, hey, you can do that. You got to put it in your code. So I'm asking today, as a board member, how do we put that in our code? What does that look like? What is the future of that? Is that possible? So that you couldn't just come in and flatten it all like they've done previously, so that they would have to work with the natural flow of land.
Yeah, I want to say some of that is in the code when it comes to topography and fire burning as well, but some of the state statutes might supersede the code requirements when St. John's Water Management is involved and other of those type of organizations. You can speak to that if you have any more information, but some of those standards that we have in place in our code are if we were to put it in the code, it would supersede our code requirements.
Yeah, just if there's a direct superseding by a superior body, then it doesn't matter what you have in the code. If the state says something, or even the feds say something about environmental stuff, that's going to supersede.
And for some of these things that we've had our audience request today and the mayor discuss, is that something that, and the landscaping ordinances, are those something that we're going to get pushback from SB 180, possibly if we move those things forward at this point in time?
Possibly.
Or,
one of the reasons why it's been on hold for so long, the agrarian code, the Fort and Building Code update, the landscape code, just the code in general. We've been very cognizant of that Senate Bill 180. I want to say that we will find out next year, 2027. I'm not sure what exact month of how they vote on that.
October 1, 2027, that's when it expires.
Right. But that's why we really been put it on hold for now. We don't want to put that stuff in code and can't enforce it, unfortunately.
okay, thank you.
It's the same way with our architectural standards on homes. Some standards that we have in the code, we really can't enforce it anymore because of the certain legislators that approved it. Yeah.
Thanks for the explanation, though.
Okay. Seeing no other board member comments, do we have any final comments from staff?
Nope. See you all next month. You had any comments, Alan? Anything you want to bring up?
Well, just to recap, I'd just like to touch on something our mayor mentioned with the map. I mean, it is something that we're working on. There were really key three issues, just to recap. One is inconsistency. Some is a legacy that we uncovered that dates before even 2018, where we found the zoning was not even consistent. We had some weird case when people have industrial and their future land use is ag, and so that's not consistent. And some people also have property rights, so there's a lot of question, and that's why before we go too deep in it, we really want to, explore all this with our attorney. And then there was some translation of the mapping that was not done properly, that some areas have, like in one case, there's a big PUD called Villa City PUD, where the PUD hasn't expired yet, and part of the whole, it should have been a established neighborhood, but for some reason it was made ag, even though they have this PUD that's still in place. So essentially, you can't just change the land. That's why we flagged it, because there's some areas we've been a little bit more conservative. There can be some areas that may not have to be changed, but some areas we just want to question it. Some areas it's really like we have like the high school. It has a zoning of civic, but it doesn't have a future land use in our city. and it needs to have one. So this is kind of straightforward. Some areas, it's like, for instance, without going too deep, but like the cemetery is an employment center, and we've created a new house for it in the future land use category we're proposing. That's going to be civic. It's a much, feels like it's more, it lines up better. And we also explore even how can we have a new future land use category even for the park, the South Lake Regional Park, if they were to come in. But at this point, we would rather not attach anything in the green swamp because this could make this even more complex. So it's something we can return again, but like right now it's to really improve the map. Right now, for sure the map we're gonna have is gonna be the most accurate and the most defendable because it's gonna have an ordinance for everything to back every single changes. And then Groveland has experienced tremendous growth from what I could tell. It's had way too many different consultants, too many hands in the pudding, and we've been spending a lot of time. I mean, like I said, it's over 11,000 parcels in the city, and so it took some time, but it's what we're going to have. We're going to have the gold standard. I'm sure any local governments, if you were to check their mapping, you would probably find some discrepancies. So we took the opportunity, to really dig deep, and we found, a pretty good amount. So
it's been a stringent process. We find something new once a week, probably, since we started looking at it. But, we've been working on it diligently. Some of the inconsistencies we found goes beyond 2020, or the map changed anyway when we updated the code. 2018, 2017. So we're comparing old zoning maps. We're finding new zoning maps that we didn't even know about. Some of the stuff is just hard to find those type of things during those time periods. But with the help of our city clerk's office, they've been helping us out a lot, as well as our staff. So we're getting there, but once we feel like we're ready to present that to the public and you all, and have the legal team review it, then we can go ahead and share that with everyone. So, because you also might see something that we didn't notice as well too. So we don't want to take anything and adopt anything to the state until we get that taken care of.
Good, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, congratulations everyone on the longest meeting time with the shortest agenda. We've done it. Congratulations. If someone would like to end that, I'm all ears. We could take a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn, sir?
All right, do I have a second?
Second.
Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Meeting is adjourned at 7:49 p.m.